Good morning, students. Let us start today's session. And today's session is talk. We are going to talk about the pinhole camera. Before the starting this session, I would like to again introduce the light chapter in which we are studying basically the properties, some properties of light. After that, we have talk about the different types of the object like luminous and non-luminous object. Apart from that, we have discussed about the how the shadows are forms and the different situation by which we can get the different kind of the shadows. Now after that, we are going to talk about the role of the pinhole camera, how it is made, and what are the different uses of this pinhole camera, where it is used. These things we are going to discuss here. Here we are talking now going to talk about the how to prepare it. Now to prepare a pinhole camera, basically we have used two boxes so that one can slide into the another with no gap in between them. The practical things, the kind of the um, of this object is, I will show in the next slide. But here how this pinhole camera can be made. There are the two sliding boxes in which there is a no gap in between them. Cut one cut open one side of each box. There is a box in which one side is open from each side. Now the other side face of the larger box, that means when the smaller size put in the larger size box, in that larger size box there is a small hole in the middle, and in a small hole box cut out from the middle a square with a side of the 5 to 6 centimeter. That means if there is a larger box, and if this larger box is it, then from here you cut this box in a rectangular shape, a square shape, and it is about 5 to 6 centimeters. After that, cover this open square in a small with tracing paper. There is a called a tracing paper, and that tracing paper is basically a kind of the materials by in which by the light can be not completely transferred from that papers, and that kind of the things which is very well known is translucent materials. And in and the other, the smaller box inside the larger one, with the hole in such a way that the side with the tracing paper is inside. That means the in a smaller box there will be also a kind of the hole, and that hole is in between that the tracing paper. Now with that the pinhole cameras are made. Now how it is used. Hold the pinhole camera, whatever the you we have made here. Hold this pinhole camera through the open face. That means as already told that there is a one side which is completely open, and open face of the smaller box. When we you should use a piece of black cloth to cover your head. Now whatever you will what you have to do, you have to cover your head with the black cloth and pinhole camera, both the things covered by the black cloth. Now what happened on the focus, now the focus on the object you want to capture in the camera. Whatever the object you want to capture through this camera, that object kept on the in front of that where you have pasted the tracing paper. Make sure that object you wish to look at through your pinhole camera are in a bright sunshine. That means the object are not in a dark place. That object should be in place of the sunshine. Now move the smaller box forward or backward. Now these situations are created by your hand forward or backward till I get a picture on the tracing paper pasted at the end other end. Now this is the way where you can see the pinhole camera can be made. This is the larger box here in which we you have a cut a square shape, and from here the smaller box where you will have put the small holes, and whenever it looks like this way, and whenever you use like this, you want to capture this picture from your pinhole camera, then you kept in front of this. Here what you have to do, these two things, that means uh, the pinhole camera and the things which you are the person who wants to observe the this object from the pinhole camera, they are must be they covered with the black cloth. Now this image will formed on their pinhole camera uh, in um, reverse order. That means if object is A to B, then it comes the picture in the pinhole camera is B to A. Natural pinhole, there is a called a natural pinhole camera. We when we pass under a tree, this is also given in your book, and whenever we pass in a under a tree with a large number of leaves, there is a number of the branches of there, and when we notice a small patches of sunlight under it, we can observe at that time small patches of sunlight which is come passing from the leaves, or we can say it is passes from the branches. These circular images are in fact a pinhole image. These circular images are basically a pinhole image of sun. The gaps between the leaves act as a pinhole. That means there is a gap between the and their leaves, and these leaves passes the light which is coming from the sun, and at that time the leaves basically work as a pinhole camera. These gaps are all kinds of basically since there is a leaves, and the leaves has a different kind of the structure, and because of that different kind of the structure, different kind of the space in between the two leaves or the two branches, then the lights also be passes from that gaps or from that leaves are irregular shape. That's why these the images which we get from on the earth is basically irregular shape, but we can see circular image of the sun. Now, whenever we see on the earth, there is a circular image of the earth, and these circular images of the sun is basically a natural pinhole camera. Here, and the lights basically, here you can see the propagation of light. That means how the lights travels in the mediums. Suppose there is a cardboard, that cardboard and the light which is which seen by this observer. This is a observer, and when this observer see this light um, which is coming from the candle, what happened, the light, the lights are propagated from this hole uh, to which is coming from the candle to the observer, and that is propagation is basically a beam of light. A bunch of ray of light is in the direction. This is a bunch of light which is coming from the candle to the observer, and that bunch of light is basically the beam of light. Here just I have shown the mirror. That means the kind of the object by which we can see the a different kind of the images or different kind of the particles. And this kind of the images in which there is a glass, and the back side of this glass there is a silver coating, and with that we can see the image of the uh, image of the object. Now we are talking about the reflection of light. That means when the lights move, when there is a light passes from the material, what happened, the light basically reflect. And like here, when we see our face in the mirror, this is a possible the phenomena of reflection of light. This is the one possible phenomena of reflection of light. When we can see anything from any kind of the object, and that object is basically the shows the phenomena of reflection of light. And basically light get reflect from the part of our body, fall on the mirrors. That means what happened here, and the light rays reflected from the parts of our body, means from the eyes, and that rays um, fall on the mirror and reflected back again, this body reflected back again. When these reflected rays reaches our eyes, retina on our that the images made in our the body, that is the part of the eye which is known as retina, and we can see image in the mirror. So reflection of light is changing the direction. What do you mean by that? Means the reflection of light is changing the direction of light. Whenever any kind of the object which kept on the rays coming from the source, at that time the if that material is reflecting object, then from that material the rays are reflected. Images formation by plane mirror. The image formed is erect. We are going to talk about the same size. We also talk about what is this lateral, inverted. These things are also we are going to talk about. Now we have seen, whenever we see in our image in our in the mirror, what happened here, the reflections which came in our eye from the mirror is basically the turn the image, turn the originality. What happened here, since as I already told the reflection of light changing the direction of light, in which these alphabets, when we call as what happened, the alphabets or the kind of the object which is not have a symmetry. At that time, if there is no symmetry in the object, then the the things can we see in the mirror is in a invert in the different direction. That means if it is originally it is in our right hand, then in the mirror we will see that right hand looks as a left hand, and left hand we will see in the mirror is as right hand. And like that, the fingers of our hand fingers is basically all the fingers are basically changed, since there is a no symmetry. That's why the position of that fingers are changed. Now these also in case of the alphabets, the all the, like if we will see the image of B in the mirror, in the plane mirror, what happened, and the plane mirror invert that image, and that image just the see in figure in the picture, it looks like here I want to draw here. If it is reverse of B, and since B is looks like in this way, and when we kept in the mirror, the mirror image of B is looks like this, and this formation is basically called a lateral inversion. Here you can see the lights is coming from the sun, and this light reflected from this our eyes, and goes in that reflection goes into our eye. That's why we can see the object. Here, the incident rays are coming from the source. It is a source of light, and when it collides with it is a surface where the mirrors are kept. And since it is a smooth surface, then light which is coming from this direction, incident light, the light which is coming from the direction from the source, and which strike on the surface of the mirror, it bounce back into the opposite direction, and this is known as reflected rays. The coming rays is basically incident rays, and the bounce back rays is called the reflected rays. And the line, or we can say the rays which will come from this position, that is called the normal. And since why it is called the normal, since this there is a surface in which this is a perpendicular, and because of this perpendicular surface, this is called the normal. And when the rays coming from the normal position, then there is a and the reflection take place on the same direction. That means the reflection take place in the same path, and this is called the normal rays. And the angle between the incident and normal is angle of incidence, and the angle between uh, um, the reflected rays and normal is called angle of reflections. And the point where these three things are meet, that means incident rays, normal rays, incident rays, normal rays, where these things are meet, these points are basically normal point, we call as a normal. So this is about the reflection of light, and how the lights reflects from the surface of the mirror, plane mirror. Now there are the some questions given here. You go through all these question answer. There are the here you can all the from here you made the notes. Shadow, reflection, and light. You can do make your notes from this part. Uh, all the notes are given here. Luminous object, non-luminous object, and there is a example translucent objects, how the shadows are formed, kind of the shadows are given here. Color of shadows are always black, as already told. The light of shadow, ellipse, these things which you have to remember. These are the basically, and these are the different types of questions. Maybe it may be related to your NCRT book. It may be related to your the some other questions also given here. All the question note down, write down all the question answer. Uh, I have what you have to understand here. Basically, the two, three things which you have to understand. What is the luminous, non-luminous? What are the different examples? And about the light, and some types of material, translucent and transparent and opaque. What are the different what we call as examples, and the formation of shadows, these things, and these pictures which is made here, you have to draw these on your house by with the help of your finger. Pinhole camera, how the pinhole camera draws, what is natural pinhole camera, and rectangular mirror and reflection of light, and the incident rays, angle of reflection, these things you have to understand. After that you have to solve the and these questions. These questions are very very important. Learn these questions, and there is this is a question where the things are given here, and you have to identify which is the materials like transparent, opaque and translucent, opaque, translucent, whether it is luminous and non-luminous also you have to talk about. And they are transparent, and here different questions are there. You solve these questions, true and false type questions, here match the following type questions. Also the multiple choice questions are given here. The two statements are given you, and out of these two statement you have to find out which statement is correct. And these are the some long questions in which you have to do by themselves, and answer are also given here. These things you have to do by yourself. Now there are the two statement you can see here, and all these answer also given mentioned here, and from this side you solve all the questions. So it is all about the light chapter. Now we will meet to the next class with the next chapters. Till the time you complete your homework, do all these activities which is essential for you. Now, thank you for today's session. We will meet again with the new chapter. Till the time, you enjoy your life and do all the activities and related activities which is necessary for development of your personal as well as the physical. Thank you.